Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now March 2nd of 2023, and with Mandalorian Season 3 Episode 1, also known as Chapter 17, now officially out on Disney+, a lot of Star Wars fans are getting very hyped up for what's next by Jon and Dave, for not just Mando 3, but also for the Ahsoka Tano series, and exactly what's going to happen with the upcoming Star Wars lore at hand. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, given that yes, there are a lot of different things happening at the same exact time, between the marketing by Disney and them dealing with Kathleen Kennedy's issues with the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew and a whole lot more on that table, we also have a lot of other aspects coming to the equation here that Jon and Dave are taking key elements from Star Wars Legends and are finding ways to reviving a lot of elements from the old stories and to make those officially canon. Now, with that being put out there right now, we have a lot of things to talk about what Jon Favreau recently confirmed based on some of the Star Wars leaks that we've been going over for the past couple of months that actually does involve the character of Luke Skywalker and Ahsoka Tano. Now, we know that the Ahsoka series is going to be a very big deal. They're aiming to get this thing out now by the fall, and Rosario Dawson really was able to hint a lot of things about the show, saying how it's really going to be a very mystical story. It's going to have a lot of that Jedi mythology thrown in there, so anyways, I digress. What Jon Favreau really had to confirm here, based on a lot of things, really kind of matches directly up with one of the leaks that we've been talking about for a while now, that involves a very special moment between two fan-favorite characters, so let's dive right into it. Now, with many new Star Wars shows and films currently in development, creator Jon Favreau recently has been making big hints to the fans about what he is about to implement in the new and upcoming Star Wars projects. Now, Favreau recently engaged in an interview for Mando Season 3 where he was able to confirm one of the Star Wars leaks about the Mandoverse era. Favreau went on to state the following to fans. Well, I think the best thing that we did in Book of Boba was we set this history up for Ahsoka and Luke's friendship, and it's something that I can confirm that we are working on to introduce further in a different installment that I really can't say right now. But I am very excited to see what fans have to say once they actually see how we are going to establish how Luke and Ahsoka met in one of our upcoming projects that we are working on every single day, and I couldn't be more excited. It's going to be something that will make itself as one of the most special moments, I believe, for Ahsoka's life to meet the son of her master, and we want to make that truly special. Now, let me just stop here before I get to the next big segment of what Favreau has to talk about. Now, we do know that everything related to the overall Mandoverse right now is that it's all about connecting things together, right? We saw in Book of Boba where Luke says, "Will I ever see you again?" Ahsoka says, "Perhaps, may the Force be with you." We're going to get a follow-up to all of that of Luke and Ahsoka reuniting in a future Star Wars project. But one of the projects, which I'm pretty sure is the Ahsoka series, and we're going to dive into that in just a second, has a lot to do with the concept art and the illustrations made for an upcoming show. Now, specifically, we're not quite sure what the illustrations were geared towards. It's most likely Mando 4, since it does have the Mandalorian, of course, connected to it all, but I digress. Now, we know that Favreau is looking to connect the Mandoverse to the books, the video games, and even some of the other canon lore that's going to be established. Now, you guys may or may not be familiar with a world called Pilio. Alright, and this world Pilio is going to have a big connection to both Luke and Ahsoka actually finding each other for the very first time. Now, we already know that Luke is going to be a very big deal, and not just Mando Season 4, but also in other upcoming projects that are currently in the works. So let's, kind of elaborate on all of this. Now, further, separate from what Favreau had to say, and this all alludes to a full-fledged scene that was created from Mandalorian Season 4 that is set to directly tie into the Ahsoka series somehow, where Ahsoka travels to the world of Pilio, a world that contains a hidden vault by Palpatine that locked away Jedi lore that Luke is in search of. Now, in the illustration, this is how Ahsoka meets Luke Skywalker by visiting the hidden cave, containing this vault of lore and ancient relics of the Jedi. Further, it's described that Favreau is trying to tie things in with the Battlefront video games, and where Luke has been all his life after Episode 6. So, here's the deal about this, is that we know that Jon Favreau is a very big fan of not just the video game lore, but he's also a very big fan on the book lore and all the like. And the fact that he's confirming here that, yes, they are developing a friendship on exactly how Luke and Ahsoka first met, and how they really actually got to first see each other based on Jedi lore discoveries. So that matches directly up with this, of how it's the world of Pilio, it's the location of one of many Palpatine's vaults that locks away Jedi lore in hidden areas throughout the Outer Rim and different parts of the galaxy too. I like how Favreau is teasing things and confirming some of the leaks out there, and it really just makes fans all the more excited. Again, like I say, the Ahsoka series, it's going to take place at different points in time. That's why I believe that this is most likely going to be geared for the Ahsoka show. We know that Mark Hamill signed his signature on the wall for the Ahsoka series, so that kind of matches up with that too. Anyways, we already know that Mando 4 could very well be a likely one, but it's most likely going to be the Ahsoka series. Now, on top of this too, we know that Jon Favreau is all about really making things make sense, and he kind of struggled recently with explaining how long it's been since Grogu saw Luke, how long Grogu was with Luke, how long he was with Din after he separated from Luke. You guys may have seen that interview, or interviews, where Favreau really couldn't give a straight answer. I don't think he really figured out the timeline just yet. So, he likes to say that in Mando 3, it's been like 0 to 2 years later from Book of Boba. I believe that's what he said. And, we don't really have a concrete placement of where it takes place, which is giving them more freedom to work with the Ahsoka show. That's one of the major reasons why he's kind of, caught off guard when he's, questioned about that. So overall, I think that what they are doing is great. The fact that they want to show us how Luke and Ahsoka first met, because let's face it, that was never explained. It's a big question. Fans were always wondering about that since Book of Boba, and it only makes things a little bit harder to understand unless you fill in the gaps, which is what they are going to do in the Ahsoka show, since it's going to jump back and forth, throughout time. So overall, at the end of the day, John and Dave, they are trying to really map out this timeline accordingly, and I'm very intrigued to hear what you guys have to say about the whole situation below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Night to move.